Hello and welcome. You're watching News Central TV. It's time for News Central now. I am Judith, Atibi. The top stories at this hour. Police fire tear gas to disperse #EndSARS protesters commemorating the 4th anniversary of the movement. The federal government is set to transfer national grid management to an independent system operator. Leading opposition candidate condemns killing of 2 associates in Mozambique. Details shortly. And officers of the Lagos State Police Command have fired tear gas to disperse protesters gathering to mark the 4th anniversary of the #EndSARS protests. The demonstrators, who assembled around 8:30 a.m. at the Lekki toll gate, carried banners and placards demanding the full implementation of the report submitted by judicial panels of inquiry set up after the 2020 protests. In October 2020, thousands of youths across Nigeria took to the streets to protest against harassment, extortion, and killings by officers of the now defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. The protests reached a peak at the Lekki toll gate, where several youths were reportedly killed and many others were severely injured following a military intervention. Although judicial panels were established in various states to review the protesters' demands, protest leaders today expressed frustration that nearly 4 years later, many of the panel's recommendations remain unimplemented. In the meantime, the pan-Yoruba social, cultural, and political group Afenifere has cautioned the federal government against following recent advice from the World Bank, which suggested reducing government support for social services in Nigeria. In a statement issued on Saturday by its National Publicity Secretary, Jare Ajayi, in Ibadan, Afenifere urged the government to carefully consider the implications of the World Bank's recommendations. The World Bank has advised that Nigeria maintain its ongoing economic reforms for the next 10 to 15 years to position itself as a leading economic power both in sub-Saharan Africa and globally. According to the bank, these reforms are essential for sustainable growth and development, allowing Nigeria to compete with other emerging economies. However, Afenifere pointed out that the current administration under President Bola Tinubu would have completed its term long before the anticipated benefits of these reforms are realized. The group stressed the need for homegrown policies that support local businesses, encourage innovation, and reduce the country's dependency on imports. Men of the Abia State Criminal Investigation Department on Saturday arrested the National Vice Chairman of Labour Party Southeast, Ceekay Igara. The Vice Chairman with the Julius Abure-led state executive were in a meeting in a popular hotel in Aba when some masked security men stormed the location and took him away. News Central's Chinwe Ugeli reports that the party supporters resisted arrest initially. Take a look.
That was how Ceekay Igara was taken away over yet to be disclosed offense. He was taken to the state's Criminal Investigation Department at Omwago in Omahia with no one allowed inside the premises.
Don't know, we have not seen any petition against him. So why should he be arrested in criminal department because he is the zonal chairman of Labour Party in the Southeast Zone?
The person held on right now in this at this location is the national vice chairman of the party, and also the chairman of the local government election committee. So we want to know why he's being kept at this location, and we have refused to be intimidated.
The police public relations officer in the state, Maureen Chinaka, was yet to confirm the arrest as of the time of filing this report. The caretaker committee's acting party chairman of Julius Abure's faction, Prince Ndubeze, is pointing accusing fingers at Governor Alex Oti.
We've been told by various people in the highly placed positions in Labour Party and in the government of Dr. Lesoti in Abia State that the local government election has been written.
Also, the secretary of the caretaker committee, John Imbojono, says it's sad that the governor who the party supported to win the 2023 election is doing everything possible to destroy the party.
We brought in this government through a democratic process. Everything that happened from the beginning to the end. I remember we marching down to the office, to INEC's office, insisting that the right thing must be done. And that process we want to sustain in this local government election. So anything devoid of that, we will not allow it.
According to them, Labour Party must be on the ballot of the forthcoming local government election, irrespective of what the governor allegedly plans to do from other parties.
The government in power must allow this election to be conducted in free and fair manner.
Same way we brought
everybody come and participate.
Yes.
Let all the parties come and participate.
They have, however, vowed to keep vigil outside the state CID premises until Ceekay Igara is released.
We will sleep here and more people will join us. And that chaos they are looking for. They will see it until they will explain to us the reason of the police invitation or the arrest.
No one knows what the fate of the Labour Party will be at the local government election in November in the state. In Afenifere Central, Chima Akinu.
Meanwhile, Abia State Police Command has confirmed the arrest of Ceekay Igara, the National Vice Chairman, Southeast of Labour Party. The Public Relations Officer of the command, Maureen Chinaka, in a press statement says the detectives of the command invited, questioned and released Igara same day. According to the statement, the command had been petitioned against Igara and 3 others by the acting chairman of Labour Party in the state, Emmanuel Oti, for alleged impersonation and acts capable of causing breach of peace. News Central's Chinwe Ugeli reports that Ceekay Igara was arrested on Saturday during his party's meeting in Aba. We'll switch gears now away from party politics and now to the 4th year anniversary commemorating the hashtag NSAS or NSAS protest. Now we know that in October 2020, thousands of youths across Nigeria took to the streets to protest against harassment, extortion, and killings by officers of the now defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS. Now the protest reached a peak at the Lekki toll gate, where several youths were reportedly killed and many others were severely injured following a military intervention. Now, although judicial panels were established in various states to review the protesters' demands, protest leaders today expressed frustration that nearly 4 years later, many of the panel's recommendations remain unimplemented. And now to discuss this further, we're being joined by our news correspondent live on ground to give us an update on the situation in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. It's none other than Joshua Marai. Joshua, many thanks for joining us. 4 years on, what's the latest? What's going on in Abuja? Did we see any type of demonstration, protest, or peaceful procession to commemorate the 4-year anniversary?
Well, Abuja and see from all kinds of demonstrations. The streets here are empty. I'm currently standing at the successful leading to the National Assembly, the pre-armed zone, and the presidential villa. But as you can see behind, there are quite a number of military cars parked behind me, signifying heavy military presence. I don't know if this is connected to the planned demonstration, which some leaders and some demonstrators who actually said they were going to do some kind of demonstration today actually told me that yes, they will be demonstrating. I think the car parked behind me actually prepared for them. That's the military, because there was heavy military presence here in the nation's capital. But I think if there are demonstrations, we've not seen any. We visited hotspots where we believe that such demonstrations will actually take place. But unfortunately, these things seems to be marked with no standing of anybody to currently speak.
And here in Lagos, there's a heavy presence of armed security there with the Lagos State Joint Task Force. Was this the same in Abuja there? In all the spots that you highlighted could most likely be a venue for a procession. Were there security guards or security personnel present there?
Well, after I call this to the area, as you can see, there are quite a number of military cars. And men of the armed forces, that's the Nigerian army. every part there. This might be connected to the early demonstrations by these demonstrators. You can see that they are ready audience and people actually take anything like happening. But I think that's where the other spots and the other hotspots are identified. Those places are marked by main problems that is impacting by the demonstrators.
In Lagos, we also saw some bit of press suppression where our staff here, Bettina Nweli, was sort of intimidated and asked to leave, and also said, and I'm going to quote her here, she said that if she was not to leave, that they told her that her safety would not be guaranteed, it won't be guaranteed. But for yourself as well, as a member of the press, did you face any sort of intimidation or suppression by the security agencies there?
I did not face any but as you can see, I'm maintaining quite a distance from these people behind me, because no one knows what could happen at any 2 seconds, and they might as well just go with anything that could happen. So we are clearly maintaining that distance while taking caution. But as for any warnings from these persons who are the security personnel, we've not gotten any, because we've not had any close interaction with this person. Now, we are still maintaining that distance and watching their face of children in the federal particular services.
Well, Joshua, I must say thank you. Thank you so much for taking out the time to talk to us this morning and giving us update there in Abuja. Joshua Marai, there, our News Central correspondent, live in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Many thanks again. We'll switch gears now to go on a short break. But when we return, 3 breakdowns from the national grid in just 1 week. The federal government now plans to transfer the national grid management to an independent system operator. We'll bring you details of these and more after the break. Stay here. You're welcome back. Let's turn our attention now to election matters. The All Progressives Congress has cleared all 23 chairmanship and 255 councillorship seats in the local government election conducted by the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission. Declaring the results, the chairperson of the commission, Hajara Mohammed, said the elections saw 8 political parties participating, with the APC winning 23 chairmanship positions and 255 councillorship positions. The Kaduna State Governor Ubar Sani expressed satisfaction with the peaceful conduct of the elections across the state.
The electoral officers and internal officers have filed their reports, and at the end of the exercise, 23 won chairmanship position and 255 won councillorship position. The 23 local government returning officers and 255 ward returning officers have declared the results in their respective constituency and submitted their results in accordance with the law alongside the electoral officers. By the power vested on the commission, I hereby wish to confirm the result earlier collected and returned by the returning officers. I'm confirming these results as follows. APC won the 23 local government chairmanship position and the 23 and 255 ward councillorship position across the state. Thank you so much for your time.
Opposition parties in Kogi State have called for the arrest and prosecution of the chairman of Kogi State Independent Electoral Commission, KOSIAC, for allegedly allowing sensitive materials to be diverted to the government house. They made their position known when they protested at the electoral office in Lokoja ahead of Saturday's local government election. Addressing journalists on behalf of other political parties, the Kogi State Organizing Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Abdul Kadri Ibrahim, alleged that sensitive materials for some local governments were diverted to Kogi State Government House. Similarly, chairmanship candidate for Social Democratic Party, and that is Olama Boro Local Government, and that's Suleiman Malik Babanawa, discredited the election exercise altogether.
It's a place where elections are conducted in my ward, Ward 4, Olamaboro Ward 4, Iga. And this is polio unit 006, maternity. And the electoral officers are not here.
What's the time now? At
about 11:25, 28, 29. a.m. The electoral umpires are not here. The Kogi State Independent Electoral Commission staffs are not here. The electoral materials are not here. No security, no sign of anything that elections are being conducted. We are here. I am here to vote, to cast my vote at the election. I have not been able to exercise my franchise, even as a candidate. And that is the same experience of what is happening in the entirety of my ward, in the 15 polling units.
The federal government, through the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, has announced that discussions are underway to transfer the management of the national grid to an independent system operator in accordance with the provisions of the Electricity Act 2023. This move is expected to improve grid discipline and stability. NERC also confirmed that the recent national grid collapse on Saturday was caused by an explosion at the Jaba transmission station. However, efforts to restore power have made significant progress, with electricity supply reinstated in 33 states and the Federal Capital Territory by 1 p.m. on Saturday. This marks the third national grid collapse in 1 week, leading to widespread power outages. The grid had also tripped off on Monday and Tuesday during restoration efforts. In a statement posted on its official X handle, NERC also acknowledged the recent increase in grid disturbances and assured the public that steps are being taken to address the issue. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has called on investors to invest in Abuja, saying the federal capital presents a conducive atmosphere for businesses to thrive. Now, this was during the recently concluded Abuja Investment Summit, which showcased the potentials of the federal capital in a bid to woo investors. Amadin Uyi reports.
Abuja is Nigeria's political and administrative capital. While housing the seat of government, Abuja has been a convergence point for several cultures, the nation's diplomatic seat, and recently, an investment haven for investors.
Abuja is not just the political capital of Nigeria, it's a place of opportunities waiting to be harnessed. Our unique position, strategic location, and growing population create a fertile ground for investment across various sectors.
In a bid to ensure Abuja fulfills its key potentials for citizens and residents alike, the Abuja Investment Company has held the first Abuja Investment Summit to harness the potentials of the federal capital.
Abuja Business and Investment Summit is designed to showcase to our stakeholders and potential investors in Nigeria and worldwide the investment opportunities that are bound in the FCT. It's equally a platform to initiate collaborations to enhance economic growth, cultural exchange, and sustainable development.
This summit is aimed at promoting investment opportunities in FCT, as well as creating a platform for networking among investors from within Nigeria and beyond.
The theme that have been chosen, optimizing market investment through partnership, involves leveraging the strength, resources, and capability of different stakeholders.
The Abuja Investment Summit will be pioneering a new approach to it, where you bring in the investors and the businesses. I am hopeful that this will be, a summit where deals will be closed.
While the minister assured of the FCT administration's commitment to delivering key infrastructures to support businesses, others called for collaboration and partnerships by investors.
We recognize that infrastructure is the backbone of any successful investment. That's why we have prioritized the development of roads, transportation networks, and utilities to ensure seamless connectivity within the territory.
It is important to identify strategic partners that will bring complementary strengths, such as expertise, market access, technology, and capital.
I would like to remind participants about the power of building strong partnerships for the achievement of a win-win situation in our business endeavors. Together, we can optimize our investments and drive the impactful change that our organization and country needs for economic prosperity.
The summit hopes to attract investments into Abuja, making it an investment haven. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
I am working with the host.
Director, National Orientation Agency, Plateau State, Kanang Wuro, has called for a nationwide sensitization on the national anthem and the 747 National Values Charter. According to her, the initiative represents a pivotal moment for all Nigerians, one that seeks to strengthen the bonds of our national identity, promoting the values that unite us as Nigerians. News Center's Chizoba Anionwe tells us more.
It was at a press briefing that the director of the National Orientation Agency in Plateau State brought to the fore the need for citizens to be further sensitized on the national anthem and the National Value Charter. The director said there is a need for Nigerians to have a rethink by changing their perception about the value systems in the country.
The National Values Charter is not just a set of guidelines, it is a call to action for all Nigerians. It encourages us to reflect on our actions and consider how we can contribute positively to our communities. By aligning our behaviors with these values, we create an environment where everyone can thrive.
For the Nigeria we crave for, citizens are urged to be alive to this charter.
The nationwide sensitization on the national anthem and the National Values Charter is more than an initiative. It is a movement towards a more harmonious and accountable Nigeria. By embracing these values, we not only honor our past, but also pave the way for a brighter future for Plateau State and for Nigeria as a whole.
However, some residents of Plateau who spoke to News Central believe that if the change the country deserves does not come from its leaders, then it may be a mission in futility.
You cannot tell people on a hungry stomach that things will get better with words. When they've not eaten, they cannot access education, there's no proper health care, there's nothing happening in the country. So I feel if the National Orientation Agency will be able to put in words to the president to ensure that, okay, he speeds up whatsoever good plans he has for the country, then we'll be able to see, and it will boost our morals.
The school fees is on the increase. The fuel is on the increase. There's no food. Hunger is actually the order of the day. And how do they expect that you should be patriotic? You are requiring something from me, but you're not giving me. Then I wouldn't be.
We should adhere to those values that to bring us together. But again, our leaders must lead by example. They must display those values, they must display those leadership qualities. By doing that, citizens of this country will key into it.
As these Nigerians have spoken their minds concerning their level of patriotism and the value system obtainable in Nigeria, one would expect that the National Orientation Agency takes back this message to the appropriate quarters for the change that is desired in our nation. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anionwe.
You're watching news now on News Center TV. Coming up, Mozambique's leading opposition candidate condemns killing of 2 associates, labels it barbaric crimes. We'll bring you details of these and more after the break. Stay. You're welcome back. We continue our conversation, or rather bring you the news in Africa, but this time Southern Africa, as Mozambique's leading opposition candidate Venancio Molane has condemned the killing of 2 of his close associates, describing the act as barbaric crimes. He accused the security forces of being responsible for the attack. Lawyer Elvino Dice and Polo Guombe are a fellow candidate, from the Podemos party supporting Molane in the October 9th presidential elections were shot dead in Maputo while preparing to challenge the disputed election results. According to eyewitnesses, two attackers fired approximately 20 shots around after surrounding the victim's car with several vehicles in the early hours of Saturday. The European Union has also condemned the killings, calling for a full and transparent investigation to ensure that those responsible for this outrageous crime are brought to justice.
As armas que você tem, o blindado que o senhor tem, o gás lacrimogéneo que você tem, nós o povo temos. Nós é que lhe conferimos poder e mandato para o senhor exercer essa competência de manter a ordem e manter a lei. Se o senhor, a nós que lhe demos o mandato, o senhor quer reprimir, quer intimidar, quer aterrorizar, o senhor vai obrigar a saber quem é que tem o maior poder de aterrorizar aquele. O senhor vai perceber quem é que tem o poder de revirar o país de um dia para o outro. Portanto, não provoque. Queremos fazer uma manifestação pacífica com os nossos cartazes na rua. Queremos manifestar, queremos mostrar o repúdio para estes crimes bárbaros que têm feito. Está claro de que foram as forças de defesa e segurança que fizeram este crime. Hoje, vocês estão a substituir os opressores de ontem. Então, não espere que o vosso final seja diferente dos opressores de ontem. Da mesma maneira que vocês libertaram os opressores de ontem, nós hoje podemos nos libertar dos opressores de hoje. E temos capacidade de o fazer. Estamos em superioridade numérica. Hoje, os jovens têm muito mais energia, muito mais inteligência, muito mais vigor do que vocês na década de 60. Mamãe Graça Machete, papá Armando Guebuza, papá Judith Santos. O sangue
The Secretary-General of the Palestinian National Initiative, Mustafa Barghouti, says killing Palestinian leaders does not stop the Palestinian struggle for freedom. Barghouti made the statement during a demonstration in Ramallah in support of Gaza and condemning the killing of Hamas's chief Yahya Sinwar by Israel. Hamas's ally Hezbollah has vowed to intensify attacks on Israel weeks into an all-out war that erupted on September 23rd, launching on Saturday rocket barrages at Israel's north, where rescuers said one man was killed by shrapnel. The latest attacks come as Hamas, Hezbollah, and allied Iran-backed groups in the region have vowed to keep fighting after Israeli troops killed the Palestinian movement's leader Yahya Sinwar in Gaza more than a year into the war triggered by Hamas's October 7th, 2023 attack.
Very clear that the killing of the Palestinian leaders does not stop the Palestinian struggle for freedom. And Sinwar in his death has exposed Israel completely, exposed their lies about him, exposed their lies about the attacks on Gaza, and the Palestinian struggle will continue.
الاحتلال لم يبقي في غزة شجرا ولا حجرا ولا بشرا. آخر مجزرة ارتكبها كان قتل القائد الفلسطيني يحيى السنوار. بنقول للاحتلال إنه مشكلته مش مع شخص ولا مع حزب، هذا مشكلته مع شعب يريد الحرية. لا اليوم ولا بكرة الاحتلال بيقدر ينهي قضيتنا وشعبنا. الحل هو إنهاء الاحتلال وأن يعود الحق لأصحابه.
احنا كتير زعلانين وكتير حزينين وكتير مقهورين إنه يعني واحد بطل مثل هذا ونفتخر فيه كمان إنه يعني يستشهد بسرعة. بس أنا ما بدي أقول أكثر من هيك، ولكن إنه استشهاده كان فخر إله وفخر إلنا، وبيعطي يعني شعور بإنه شعب أو حركة بيستشهد أمين هالعام، فهي ستنتصر بإذن الله.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warns the involvement of North Korean soldiers fighting for Russia in Ukraine would be the first step to a world war. North Korea's decision to deploy thousands of soldiers to Ukraine's front lines cements Pyongyang's contentious military alliance with Moscow and pulls Russia deeper into Korean Peninsula security. About 1,500 North Korean Special Forces soldiers are already in Russia, acclimatizing, likely to head to the front lines soon, with thousands more troops set to depart imminently. Pyongyang's first such deployment ever overseas.
So we know about 10,000 soldiers of North Korea that they are preparing to send fight against us. Because Iran, they gave, drones, licenses to produce these drones and missiles. Yes, but not people, not officially, yes? And here we see this first step in this war, and this is the first step to a world war. Of course, it's understandable.
In the meantime, Germany's Defense Minister Boris Pistorius says that the possible intervention of North Korean soldiers in Ukraine is worrying. Pistorius said this makes it clear that the conflict is spreading to other regions of the world. The German defense minister spoke while answering questions after the G7 meeting with his counterparts in Naples in Italy. He also addresses the attacks on UNIFIL forces in the Middle East.
Der Krieg, den Russland gegen die Ukraine führt, ja längst eine internationale, weit über Europa hinausreichende Frage geworden ist. Die Tatsache, dass Nordkorea Russland massiv unterstützt mit Soldaten, wie man jetzt hört, aber auch insbesondere auch mit Munition und anderen Waffen, dass China eine Rolle spielt bei der Unterstützung im Graubereich mindestens. Das alles macht deutlich, dieser Konflikt franzt aus in andere Regionen der Welt, was seine Wirkung angeht. Alle G7-Nationen waren sich einig, dass der Einsatz von UNIFIL fortdauern muss, aber auch gewährleistet bleiben muss. Das heißt, dass Attacken, ob zufällig oder nicht, von UNIFIL-Einheiten oder Camps unterbleiben müssen.
And we go on a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you business news. And this time, it's going to be a beginner guide to investing and navigating the stock market. Stay here. Stock market investment can be intimidating, particularly for novices, but with the correct information, it can be a very effective strategy to increase your wealth. Every beginner investor has to learn certain fundamentals, such as how shares are bought and sold, how dividends are paid, and how to monitor the performance of your portfolio. Nasira Agbalaya, business editor, compiled this report to assist newbies on how to start. Take a look.
In stock market can be a rewarding venture, but for beginners, understanding the basics is essential to making informed decisions. Today, we're breaking down key concepts that every new investor should know when buying and selling shares. So what exactly does it mean to buy and sell shares of a company?
Shares basically are part ownerships, right? When you own shares, you own like part owner to a particular business or company. Buying and selling shares basically involves trading ownership stakes in businesses and companies listed at the stock exchange. We're in Nigeria. So in Nigeria, it's the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
The same way you can just walk in to buy shares from your neighboring store, the same way you just go to buy shares on a company. That easy. The only difference is instead of buying from a neighboring shop, you're buying from an exchange to your stockbroker.
What key factors should be considered before diving into the equity markets?
It is also important that as a beginner, you start with a manageable amount of capital and funds that you cannot afford to lose. Please do not invest your school fees, your children's school fees, or your house rent.
If, for example, I'm someone that wants to buy and sell, so I have to look for shares that are possibly underpriced, or that I think the company will be able to perform better in the coming years, or that I think the nature of their business, I can see the growth trajectory, right? So I can buy and say, okay, maybe in the next 2 years, this company should have increased the share price and I can sell. But if you're a long-term investor that you want to hold that share for like 10 years, 15 years, the type our parents used to do, then you have to look at the business they are doing. Is that business sustainable into the foreseeable future?
How does it work? There is a portal, an independent portal that was created, the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, Nigerian Interbank System, registrars and banks came together to actually develop that portal, and it has progressed over time. So I'm sure most investors would be aware of the formal physical mandate form. You don't have to go through other hassles again.
From the traditional dividend payment model to e-dividend. E-dividend is very simple and straightforward. What it means is once you fill the e-dividend form with your registrar, once the company announces and pays dividend, you receive it alert. You will receive it in your bank as if someone is transferring money to you.
Finally, tackling your stock portfolio's performance is key to making smart investment decisions. What tools are available to help investors stay informed?
Many of the stockbroking outfits, the stockbroking houses, now have apps where you can buy and sell without even sending instruction on the platform.
The moment a company declares dividends and sets a payment date for that, the very payment date you would get your dividends. That's basically the advantage as against having to wait. So in the past, we used to use dividend warrants where we would tear warrants, envelope, and then post it to shareholders' addresses. Now, you get your money real time.
Investing in the stock market can be a journey filled with learning opportunities. With the right knowledge and tools, you can navigate the complexities of shares, dividends, and portfolio management successfully. Stay informed. Stay invested.
Now, there are renewed calls to equip women to not just make money, but become sources of wealth and success. From personal branding to career hacks, investment tips, skincare secrets, soap, and more, financial experts say the way forward is equipping women with the resources to become the bag themselves. Take a look.
In order to enhance financial innovation and access, Women's Economic Empowerment Report reveals important linkages between financial inclusion and economic empowerment. It says only 22% of women in Nigeria are economically empowered, and they are more likely to be if they have access to and use financial services.
The statistics and the data is really stacked against women. And I think we need to start to change that narrative. The data shows us that women are not just discriminated against, but they are much worse off than their male counterparts. And so how do you break that? How do you start to break that cycle? It's really about providing the financial information and education to these women. We have a lot of intelligent, young, dynamic women in Nigeria today. And I think that within the financial sector, providing them with the necessary tools and resources really enables them to take the financial decisions towards financial independence.
When over 7,000 women converge for Afenifere, it's more than just chasing money. Experts say that empowering women involves helping them to take charge of their money.
Over time, we always talk to women about money. You have to save, you have to invest. But most times, do they have the tools they need for these things, right? Not just listening, but being able to take action on the spot, right? So here we have different organizations, investment banks, fintech platforms, insurance, a lot of them. You could walk up to them like, okay, I want to sign up to this thing. Can you guide me? I'm trying to do this. I'm not sure how. So there they will guide you on the spot. You're not just hearing, you are also taking action.
Becoming the bag as a theme continues in the line to foster financial literacy and economic power through diverse activities and sessions with top financial experts, career professionals, respected actors, influencers, and business leaders.
A lot of the people here are not about making the money. Some have their money. It's how to invest the money, how to use your money. And some people are here to learn how to make the money. And it's about her bag. Absolutely. Every woman needs to make her own money. I think for every man too, you want assets, you don't want liabilities. For a woman to become an asset to you, she has to be a financial woman. She has to be someone who owns her own, who makes her own money.
Education, digital and financial literacy are most significant drivers of empowerment. This is followed by household and group agency regarding women's autonomy to join and influence decision-making in social groups like financial hubs.
And in sports, Nigeria's under-17 women's football team, the Flamingos, advanced to the quarterfinals of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup with a 4-0 victory over Ecuador on Saturday. Shakirat Moshood opened the scoring from the penalty spot in the 26th minute, following a foul on captain Taiwo Afolabi. Now, Harmony Chidi extended the lead in the second half, netting in the 54th minute, while Peace Efyong Ekong added a third after a defensive mistake. Moshood sealed the win with her second goal in added time. With 2 wins from 2 matches, and a goal differences of +7, Nigeria is through to the last 8 ahead of their final group game against host nation Dominican Republic. Victor Osimhen came off the bench to score an outrageous overhead kick goal that sealed a 3-0 victory for Galatasaray against Antalyaspor in the Turkish Super League on Saturday. The game marked Osimhen's return from injury and the continuation of a fine form since he joined the outfit from Serie A side Napoli. Hakim Ziyech's free kick deep in stoppage time fell sweetly for the Nigerian forward, who wasted no time in smashing it home with a fine display of athleticism. Other goals were scored by Moro Ikadi, who Osimhen replaced, and the victory takes his team to 25 points as they sit comfortably at the top of the table and 7 points, just about second placed from Samsunspor. And finally, in tennis, Rafael Nadal reflected on an amazing rivalry with Novak Djokovic and said he would not be the player he is today after losing their final meeting as professionals. Nadal, 38, announced earlier this month that he will retire from tennis at the end of the season. Serbia's Djokovic beat the Spaniard 6-2, 7-6, 7-5 in their third-place match of the sixth King's Slam exhibition event in Saudi Arabia. The pair shared a warm embrace at the net at the end, while Nadal was presented with a golden tennis racket as part of a post-match presentation in Riyadh. Nadal will represent Spain in his final appearance at next month's Davis Cup finals in Malaga. Heartbreaking to see all the greats retire. But that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Police fired tear gas to disperse #EndSARS protesters commemorating the 4th anniversary of the movement. The federal government set to transfer national grid management to an independent system operator. And we also told you that leading opposition candidate condemns killing of 2 associates in Mozambique. Now remember that you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422. You can also watch us on Star Times channel 274 or Avo TV, or stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith at Atibi. Bye for now.